Hello friends, let's start the first round of this battle that took place in February 1945, where American forces fight to conquer Manila. In this turn, American units will advance towards Paco Cemetery, a strategically important position for the next phases of the battle. The Americans have 7.5 turns to complete the mission, whose objectives are to obtain twice as many victory points per casualty as the Japanese and to obtain control of buildings 3Y68 and 4E64. Alternatively, they must place 3 equivalent squads in any hex of Paco Cemetery. Without further ado, let's move on to the battle. Rally phase Americans turn 1. Wind change 9, no wind changes. Prep fire phase. "60mm mortar will attempt to launch a smoke screen in hex 4I66, 5 hexes away. The basic to hit number at this distance using the area target type, ATT, is 7. Since the launch is smoke ammunition, there is a modifier of more to and 9 or less is required for success. 3, 2, 5, success. The smoke marker +3 is placed on the attacked hex and the mortar maintains its rate of fire. Movement phase. Huff squad moves from 4M71 to 4I71. Huff squad moves from 4M68 to 4I71 by passing 4K69 and 4I70. This unit loses the concealment marker because it entered the line of sight of the Japanese squad hidden in 4G69. This squad shows its existence to ensure the loss of concealment of the American unit and is placed on the board under the concealment marker. Stacking in 4N69 moves to 4I70 by passing K69 and K70. Stacking moves from K68 to J69 by passing M69 and K69, L70, K70. Stacking in N67 makes an illegal move by moving to J68 using bypass movement at M68, N69, M69. This movement is illegal because the American heavy machine gun requires the use of 5 toll points and could use 5 remaining movement factors. Huff squad moves from M64 to J64 using bypass at L64, L65, K64. Huff squad moves from L65 performing the same bypass and moves to J63. Defensive fire phase. No actions. Advancing fire phase. The Americans will not fire. At the end of this phase, there is an evaluation of the progression of the fires. Let's start with the blaze at I-72. It can spread to the woods at H-72. The number for the fire to spread to the woods is greater than or equal to 7. As modifiers for the result of the dice, we will have -2 because the forest is not contiguous to the burning building. 11 minus 2, 9. A flame marker is deposited on the hex H72. Blaze in K61 can spread to the rubble hex in L61. The result for fire spread is greater than or equal to 9 with a -2 modifier, non-contiguous structures. Seven minus 2, 5. The fire does not spread. Checking the spread of the blaze from hex Y63 to the woodland hex in Z64. The base number for spread is greater than or equal to 7 with a -2 modifier because the woodland is not contiguous to the building. 10 minus 2, 8. And the flame marker should have been placed in hex Z64, which Jim does not do. Advance phase. Stacking from J68 to I67. Stacking from J67 to I68. Stacking from J70 to I69. Mortar from N66 to M65. Half squad from I71 to H72. Second half squad from I71 to H71. Half squad from J63 to I63. Half squad from J64 to I63. Close combat phase. No actions. Rally phase Japanese turn 1. Wind change 9. No wind changes. Prep fire phase. The Japanese cannon at I-65 has the hex occupied by the American stack at I-67 in bore sighting. With this it will attempt a shot on the American stack 4 hexes away. The basic to hit the Americans at this distance in infantry target type is 8 with the modifier of -2 for bore sighting +1 woods. The -1 acquisition marker is placed on the American stack. 11 minus 1, 10. The target is not hit. Shot from the unit with the heavy machine gun in the steeple at F65 that forms a fire group with the squad on the middle floor on the American stack at J67. This shot will be with 8 firepower +1 woods. One, 4, 5, +1, 6, 1 morale check and the machine guns maintain the rate of fire. Eight +1, 9. The leader has his morale broken. 6 +1, 7. The first half squad has its morale broken. 7 +1, 8. The second squad has its morale broken. 6 +1, 7. The third squad also has its morale broken with an excellent shot from the Japanese who still maintained the rate of fire of the machine guns. Movement phase. Japanese stacking in D62 will abandon its current position and will move out of the line of sight of the Americans towards the cemetery. It is important to remember that in the third turn the second American wave will enter from the east or south of the scenario. Due to this, the Japanese feel it is necessary to move some of their units towards the southern sector of the battle. Dummy markers from F63 to Z65 using bypass in C63, D64, C64. Half squad moves from G65 to D68 losing the concealment marker. Squad in G67 moves to D68. The Japanese dummy unit occupies a different building from those previously found with the presence of a white circle surrounding a white circle minor. This building is a warehouse. Warehouse are empty factories and are 1.5 level obstacles with no cellars or rooftops. There is no hindrance from the factory and the terrain modifier factor of the factory is 0. Dummy marker from C72 to C71. Defensive fire phase. Flamethrower at I-69 will make an attack on the Japanese squad at G-69. This attack will be made with 12 firepower reduced to 6, concealed target, without modifiers. 7. Normal morale check. The Japanese squad loses the concealment marker. 4. The Japanese squad passes. Firing from the American stack at I-69 makes a shot with 16 firepower plus 3, stone building, minus 1, American leader. 7 plus 2, 9, 1 morale check. 4 plus 1, 5, the Japanese squad passes. Advancing fire phase. The Japanese will not fire and we will evaluate the spread of the fires starting at hex Z64, which at this point should contain a flame marker and the possibility of it becoming a fire should be assessed. For the fire to spread from Y63 to Z64, a result greater than or equal to 7-2, non-contiguous structure, would be required. 8-2, 7, the fire is not spread, but the flame in Z64 would have turned into a fire. Jim will correct this next turn. Attempt to spread the fire from K61 to L61 requiring a 9 or less for this to occur with the -2 modifier, non-contiguous structure. 11-2, 9, the flame marker is deposited in hex L61. Attempt to turn the flame into a fire in hex H72 requiring a 7 or less for this to occur. 5. Unsuccessful, and the flame remains, which is excellent for the American half squad that is not affected by the flame. Rout phase. American stacking with broken morale in I-65 to K-68. The heavy machine gun had to be abandoned because the points needed for its portage, 5, exceed the capacity of the American half squad, portage point of 3. Advance phase. Japanese stacking from D72 to C71. Dummy unit from C71 to B71. Squad in D68 to trench in E68. squad from D68 to C68. Dummies from Z65 to Z66. Stacking from a 65 to B66. Close combat phase. Squad at C68 regain the concealment marker. No additional actions are developed. At this point, at the end of the first turn, we will end this episode with the Americans advancing through the southernmost sector of the scenario below the Padre Fora Road. In this sector, they encountered the first Japanese defensive positions and, as a result, one of their stacks had its morale completely broken, which resulted in the need to abandon the heavy machine gun in Hex I-67. The Japanese units, realizing that the main route of advance for the Americans is south of the Padre Fora Street, began to move units that were previously allocated to the north towards the south. We must remember that the Americans will have reinforcements that will enter the scenario at the beginning of the third turn and may enter the scenario from the eastern or southern limits of the map. Finishing this episode, we will place a blaze marker on the Z64 hex as we had previously discussed. See you soon. Namaste.